there's nothing until next week.
Yeah, he wouldn't have played this week anyway. So we're just getting him ready for week 1.
Is Dwayne going to practice more today?
He's going to get a little more integration into practice, but could be with us, could be on the side, but he's here and he's working.
We saw Lazard go inside yesterday before the last team period. Is he okay?
Yeah, he's dealing with an AC joint. We'll see we'll check his availability for the game, but we're not worried about his availability for week 1.
He wouldn't practice today, though.
He's not practicing today. Same. He's dealing with an ankle.
What kind of energy have the fans brought to practice with all the don't understand that?
It's been fun. You know, I always love the open practices with the fans. They bring an extra level of juice. I've said it before. You know, when the fans are out, the players kind of get leveled up too. So, you know, it's sad to see him go, but we'll see him on Sundays or Mondays.
Robert, you were obviously very excited early in camp about the shape Germaine Johnson came in. Now that we're a month in, the way he's been able to sustain his improved play, is that the most impressive part?
Yeah, he's been able to sustain, keep his weight. He's made plays in games. He's made plays in practice. He looks fantastic. I am excited for him to get into the regular season for him, just so he can start translating all that to not necessarily real football, but he's done a really nice job. And for those guys, you just cheer him on to just hope that he keeps taking those steps.
Obviously, he flashes as a pass rusher. You have such a deep line, but how confident are you he's an every down guy, a run stopper, edge setter?
Yeah, he's an old school in the sense he's a 3-down run defender, edge rusher. I'd argue his ability in the run game is even better than his ability in the pass game, which not to knock his pass game ability, but he is very violent at the point of attack, especially if he's got a tight end in his hands. He dents edges, collapses edges, can two-gap from an edge. He's very impressive in the run game.
Can you talk about that edge he brings to the table, like the nastiness he brings on?
He does. He plays with a violence to him. Definitely plays with an edge to him. You have to. The amount of strain to play on our D-line, the strain is a required skill set, and he absolutely strains his tail off. And it doesn't show up as much in the pass game, and you really don't get a chance to see it in the run game. But he is a very violent, nasty human in the run game, and it's pretty good.
Sorry, what's the latest with Carl Lawson?
He's still dealing with the back. It's hopefully. Yeah.
What's his status for week 1, Robert, in your mind?
I don't have that for you yet. I don't.
With Corey gone, could you assess the receiver situation beyond the top 4 guys?
It opens up competition for everyone. You know, you've got Irv was here a year ago, and Malik Taylor, and you got X is doing a nice job. Brownlee, they're all competing. You know, and so it's a great competition going on, and we'll see how it shakes out.
But Malik hasn't been out there. Robert, is he dealing with something?
Yeah, he had an injury in the last game, but hopefully we get him back soon.
What was your message to those guys now that Corey's out? Just a chance for them.
They know.
Yeah.
You know, they know the opportunity that's at hand, and when one door opened, you know, just Corey leaving opened up a door for somebody else, and they're fully aware of what that looks like and what that means, and it's just a matter of observing and seeing who takes advantage of it.
Did you guarantee a Super Bowl while the plane was going overhead?
You missed it. No.
We've asked you a lot of questions about Makai, but could you talk about the role that Cam Clark has played with Makai and how that's influenced him?
Yeah, you know, our developmental crew does a really nice job. That's Zotter, that's Bryce, and then Cam has been working as an intern. You know, their role is to kind of connect on a level that a player can, a coach can, a family member can. It's just a different level of connection, and Makai and Cam have really gotten close, and you know, I don't ask about what those conversations are. I don't want to know what that relationship is like. I just know that it's been a fruitful relationship, and it's really helped Makai grow as a person, as a father, as an athlete, as all of it.
Why is it important for Aaron to play? I mean, I understand with Zach, you want to see all the things he's working on, but someone like Aaron who's been through this knows the offense. Why is it important for him to play this week?
For Aaron,
Yeah.
you know, I've said it before, like, you know, even though he's been in the league for 19 years, he's going into a new stadium. He's got new colors on. He's got new teammates, new play caller. Everything's new, and you know, and it's not so much about him, but everybody else around him, hearing him for the first time, feeling him in a game-like setting, feeling his cadence, feeling his huddle, his demeanor in the huddle, feeling him at the line of scrimmage. And so as much as it is for him, it's even more so for the guys around him, so they can feel the tempo that he wants in and out of the huddle, and we can make the adjustments off of it rather than waiting until week one and then making the adjustments after that. Well, let's see what it feels like now and make the adjustments we need so we can get better for week one and then make more adjustments and so on and so forth.
Have you talked about how long? I know you said it doesn't really matter if you put 2, 3 and outs or whatever, but is there going to be a specific thing?
I don't have a specific number. I want to get transitions, but I also know how I am on game day. Whatever I plan on game day, sometimes I just throw it out the window based on what my emotion is feeling at that moment. But the plan is to get transitions going in terms of different series so they can come off the field, get the adjustments, take those adjustments to the field, play football, come back, make more adjustments, go back. So I'd like to see multiple drives, but we'll see.
At this point, in camp, with it being the last day and last game coming up, where are you on like the 53? Do you have like 2 or 3 spots? And what do you tell some of these guys that are kind of sitting on the edge at this point in camp?
I'm not going to get too specific on how many spots are battling, but there are obviously there's spots battling, and they know. Players are smart. They count numbers, and then our job is to let them know that just because you're a tight end, don't just count the numbers for tight ends, because there might be a D lineman that might warrant going +1 in that position, where we might go minus in another position. So there's so many different battles happening, but it's not necessarily from position group to position group, but it's position group versus position group. And so there's a lot of really cool things that happen at this point where it's like, shoot, do we got to go plus or minus at certain spots to make sure that we don't lose an NFL quality football player and then our 53-man roster player or somebody that's going to really help us. So all those discussions are happening, and you know, we're getting down to it. Shoot, we're not even 5 days away. So
What does your process look like in terms of after the game and analyzing that 50-man roster?
that's where, you know, just getting with Joe and just having those discussions and really trying to map out what the plan is for everybody, and you know, that's why Joe gets paid the big bucks.
Robert, when you sit in those personnel meetings now, compared to 2 years ago, last year, do you feel like you guys have more players that are 53-man NFL players on the team?
Absolutely. You know, that I think last year was an example. I think we broke a record for guys who are claimed. I think we're going to have a good number of guys claimed again this year. But you know, we've built a pretty darn good roster that people see the value in our players, and so it is a lot of tough decisions for us, because we know that we might have to say goodbye to somebody, but at the same time, we know we're going to get a lot better for it.
Obviously, everybody has guys that can wind up on another roster. 2 of your guys you cut last year are on the roster you're going to face this week, Cager and Pinnock.
Yeah.
Do you look back at that ever and say, like, oh, we should, like, the coaches live in the moment and say, we have to move past that, or part of you ever like, oh, maybe those guys were worth keeping in hindsight?
No, I'm so excited for those 2. Like Cager, you know, really proud of him, because, you know, knock on wood for him, he was a receiver, had so much trouble trying to stick, and then, you know, we made the investment in trying to get him into that tight end spot, and he flourished, really took off, and so we needed to make a roster move because of injuries, and it allowed him to have the opportunity to get to the Giants, and he's done very well. So that, like, those stories are awesome. I don't care where it ends up. Like, for him to be able to extend his dream, albeit at a different position than when it started, I think is awesome. And same thing for JP. Always felt like he was going to be a really good football player, and you know, he's doing a really nice job over there. He's starting, so I got nothing but love for all of them in terms of just being a fan for them, you know, you just want to see guys who put so much work and effort into getting to this point to be able to extend it, whether here or somewhere else. It's always a good thing. So
You send Wink a text and say, like, don't go crazy on Saturday against Rodgers, or what? I mean, he pissed off Belichick last year with all his blitzes in the preseason.
Shoot, I don't know. Hope, you know, Wing's system is dynamic. I love watching it because it's so contrast to ours, and so it's always, you could always learn from him. He's very good at what he does.
Thanks, everybody.
All right, guys, thank you.